Hello, world, and welcome to your One Word Wednesday. I am so excited about today's guest and today's word. Today, we're talking about flexibility. My question is, how flexible are you? Let's go. Thanks so much for watching One Word Wednesday. I'm so glad you are here. If you want to join us, if you want to get more involved in what we're doing, we'd love to have you. Links coming soon. Hello, world. Welcome back to One Word Wednesday. I am so excited to be here today. I mean, sometimes like when I get to bring folks on this show, I very rarely get to bring somebody with the same amount of passion as that I have. You know what I mean? And so today I'm going to introduce you to somebody that I met when I was at the Pittsburgh Steeler facility. I was running a camp for this famous family, and there was this guy that was there that had this energy, and I was actually running a breakout, and I would pass kids from my breakout to his breakout, and it was like fire on fire. And I'm just so excited to introduce you to him today. Please tell the world who you are and what you do.
First, Nick, it's just the feeling's mutual, man. Huge thank you and shout out for having me here. And I was looking over your content, talking about the Royal Revis, looking what you do, and it's just encouraging, man. So it's so encouraging to see this right here, what's happening. And it's in so much alignment with what it is that I do. So it's rare that I see somebody like you. So it's a win-win, and that's what we look for in life. It's a mutually beneficial situation where we can serve people together. So your mission, I love it. Your content just speaks to my soul, to our mission.
Yeah.
At Premier Youth and Community Center. So that's part of who I am. The words that you use are part of our core values. We talk about equality, racial equality, unity, enthusiasm, inclusiveness, mindfulness, like mindset. What's your mindset on? Goal setting, all these positive things that I know when I was coming up, like, I had a strong core of love. Like, my parents love me. I got the best mom in the world. I'll put my mom up against any mom. She's the best. But she's the best. But I mean, there was things that just wasn't instilled, that could have put me on a different path sooner.
Yeah.
And so that my name's Jaryd Boyer. I like to say I'm a follower, a father, and I'm a founder. So I'm a follower of Jesus first off. And I'm a father of 4 beautiful kids. I got 3 teenage daughters, and I got a special needs son. Yeah, three teenage daughters. I don't write books about that. You definitely got to know Jesus to do that stuff. And then my son just turned 9 years old. He had 3 open heart surgeries. He came out. Yeah, he came out up against it, man. I found a lot of faith in that, and that was a whole miracle. That's a whole story there. So yeah, I'm the founder of Premier Youth and Community Center and Pound for Pound Sports and Fitness Academy. Started off as a boxing gym early, and it evolved as eyeball, as into serving the community. So my background's boxing, and I was just around the best. I was blessed to be around the best athletes in the world, some of the best in the world who I learned from. And it ain't nothing I did. It was just something that I was just inserted into. So I was just extremely blessed in my life in that regard. And what we do at Premier Youth and Community Center is a nonprofit. Pound for Pound Sports and Fitness Academy is a for-profit. So that's the environment that supports the nonprofit and the ministry work that we do right now. So we're still growing. We're only 6-7 years, and it's been a grind. And the passion and mission and purpose is the only thing that has got us through it.
So I got to jump in. Because our word for today is flexibility. And
Okay.
Now you talked about all these different things that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And all these different hats that you wear, these different identities. When you hear the word flexible, right? Like what do you think of? What comes to your heart?
Right. So now, before it was different. Like, if you think about flexibility in boxing and how necessary it's necessary. We talk about body control and balance is what we preach at Premier, which means where your body's at all times, because you can't play games in boxing, right? And you can't, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you don't know you're there, like, you're in trouble, just like life. You can't be in the hood, like with $1 million in the trunk, you don't even know where you're at. Or something, you know, you just got to know, because it could be dangerous. So when I think of flexibility in boxing and all, now this stuff all ties back into life, just who I am and where I am today, is you got to have balance, and flexibility is like your waist you got to be flexible, you got to be able to move, and you got to be ready at all times for anything. That only happens through your foundation, right? Body control and balance. And the Karate Kid, I told you earlier, Mr. Miyagi, that was the key, right? He told Daniel's son, he said, you must have balance. Balance is like not just your balance that you're standing balanced, like you have balance in your life. Like there's good and there's bad things that happen in your life every day, all day, every day. How you process those bad things, how do you get rid of them, right? So now flexibility in life means if you have an event that happens that ain't scheduled, and it happens every day, especially in a leadership role, there's stuff that happens in your life, like how are you going to respond to those
So
things?
I gotta jump on that right there. How do you get rid of it? Like when these things come up, and I work with people every day and from the boardroom to the streets, right? Like
Right.
these different things come into their life, and some of them just bring them down. Like they attach themselves to them like a weight in water, and they start to drown. How do you let go?
Right. So for me, there's a couple of topics here, and I don't got it figured out here. Let me just say that, because I try my best. I'm preaching to myself when I tell people these things. So how am I able to move through various situations with flexibility or hardships or whatever? Number one for me is I have to be ready. Like I'm in the box. Like I think about, remember the bracelets? I'm showing my age now, but they had these bracelets. It was called WWJD. What would Jesus do? Right.
I had a few of them.
Yeah. Right. So so think about the situation and how is the right way to respond. So for me, my mind is already set on, like when these problems come and happen, like who else is going to deal with it? I have to deal with it. There's too much riding on it. There's a destiny, a legacy. There's my children's lives. Like everything's on the line for me as a founder, right? It's all, so nobody else is going to deal with it. So my mind's already set on, like, I got to solve this problem, right? And now as I'm learning that, you know, people would label me, other leaders in the community would label me as a problem solver. And I don't label myself that, but I'm learning as my weakness is a problem solver, being flexible enough to be like, yo, we got a problem, we got to solve it, right? This is how you do it. But in the midst of solving a problem, when somebody's calling you, there's a problem, they're like, yo, we got this fire, where's the water at? Like, in my mind is like this. My mind's like, where's the match? You know what I'm saying? Like, we already seen this movie once, twice, 3 times, and we're all guilty of it. Like I make mistakes in life, and fires happen that I got to put out, right? So when situations happen, you got to be flexible. First off, like as a leader, you got to be accountable. Be like, what's my role in this? First off, it's on me, right? Instead of getting a bucket of water to go throw on the fire, I'm thinking we got to find the match that caused it, right? But in that process, the people who need help, they want the water, right, to throw on the fire, and I'm missing that sometimes. So as a leader and being flexible, that's definitely a weakness of mine. And another thing is E plus R equals O. This is part of our curriculum. Events are going to happen. How you respond equals the outcome. So this is what we teach in the curriculum. E plus R equals O. It's everybody's life, right? You have an unforeseen event that's not scheduled, and you're 168 hours in a week scheduled, right? So throw on the stuff that you don't got scheduled, depending on, you know, the people that you got to deal with every day. So when this happens, my response is there's gonna be an outcome. Like the outcome is gonna be, have a direct reflection on what my response was. How am I responding? That boils down to my mindset. Like where's my mindset at in that motion, in that moment? Am I responding in a way that serves me or serves people? Am I responding in a way that I want to prove what my emotions are, or say what I know? Like, I've been through this situation before, I know how to handle this. Is that how I'm responding? Or am I responding in alignment with my values and with love? You know, and most importantly, is it lining up with what I'm trying to achieve? So my week is scheduled to achieve my destiny, right? So if something happens along the line that doesn't line up with my destiny, I can't address it. But it's different when you're doing ministry too. It's like you got to take on those situations and you got to respond. You got to respond with love the best that you can. And maybe you're going through something emotionally that day. It's hard. Maybe you got a problem with the kids. You got something happening in your family. Now you got somebody else talking about they're all stressed out because they need an oil change, and I'm over here like my life or death is on. So how do I serve that situation with love? But I can't compare my, I can't say you got a molehill, I got a mountain, right? Because your molehill is a mountain to you, actually. So these are things that you think through as a leader and being flexible. But at the end of the day, am I prayed up? Right? Do I have mentors to lean on? I got a spiritual father. I got business mentors. I got knowledgeable, good friends like you, right? If I got a problem, I got people I can lean on, right? Because there isn't, when these things come up, it's like, who got the experience? I want to find out who's been through this before.
Right.
What does the Bible say about it? Number one, that's a big one for me, because that's our instruction manual in life. This situation happened somewhere. How are we supposed to respond to it? And then
I gotta ask you, hold on, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But like it gets me so excited to hear what you're saying, especially with that mountain and the molehill, right? And so sometimes folks get stuck on either one, on the mountain, climbing the mountain, right? And getting so focused on the mountain that they miss the trees, they miss the view, they miss all these other things, right? Or even the molehill, they're looking down. I can't look at a molehill if I'm looking up. I only see the molehill when I'm looking down. So my question to you is, how do you find peace? How do you find a place where Jaryd Boyer gets built into, gets loved on, you know what I'm saying, and receives that same amount of attention that you put out into the world?
Right. Man, there's only one answer for that. I don't know if I found it yet, but like the peace that surpasses all understanding. But it's a journey, is like a Sabbath. Like I gotta make sure I get that day off. And I got to spend my time with Jesus. I got to spend time with Jesus. I'm not going to make it. I don't know how people make it through the day without Jesus, right? And I don't know how they do it, because I can't do what I got to do and go through what I got to go through every day without knowing that I got that, And that's the only thing that I have right now. And also my, mentors and a community of people around you. And this is what our curriculum is built off of, which is another answer to your question. So we got this teen leadership program that just jumped off. It's the third session, and it's a whole nother story about, you want to talk about being flexible, like when hard times hit. It's like when the pandemic hit, we lost all of our revenue, right? And somebody had to make a decision and shift and pivot. And I took what we had, I invested it into somebody who I knew we needed. And that's how the program was birthed. Now we're serving over 30 kids and families this week because of that hardship. Good things come out of bad. We learn lessons. But so the curriculum is based off of my life, things that I found to be important. So this would be all of our core values, vision, mission, values, just how we move in integrity. But the main theme of it is for these kids, these teens, who we call teen leadership, because everybody's a leader in some capacity. Well, you ain't got to be leading hundreds of people in an organization or in a boardroom, and you got to start somewhere. Like you have a cat or a dog, but first you have yourself. Like you got to lead yourself. If you can't lead yourself, you're not going to lead anybody else. Right? Are you leading yourself to me? Am I leading myself to growth, personal growth, or am I damaging myself, starting these fires that make me have to be flexible to do things? Am I doing that to myself? So as the leader, you just got to be aware of that. And I think I answered the question. But finding the peace. Another thing was like people around you. The theme of it is teen leadership, right? It's called Mentor Me. And the biggest key right now, I'm seeing this theme in this season of life, is called soil development, right? So I tell the kids like this, and I got it from a combination of things, circumstances and what the Lord was doing in my life was through this couple of Joel Osteen sermon, a couple other things in my life. And I was just like, it was this revelation to where, like, you know, you got to be surrounded with people, but you know, your future looks like the 5 closest people to you, right? Right. So soil development is if your seed, if your life is a seed, you need good things to grow. You need good soil, you need light, you need water, you need somebody to pluck them weeds out every once in a while.
Ooh.
Like if you a seed, you can't do, like, you ain't got no power to do that, right? Because you're just in there. But you could be surrounded by rocks, thorns, and weeds that can choke out your growth, right? And most of the time, in my experience in life, those rocks, thorns, and weeds can be, most of the time, are your friends, family, and co-workers, like these people that are close to you, closer to you, who, you know, if you feel like a calling, or you feel like, you know, you ain't serving your purpose and destiny, these people are dragging you down, right? And so that's the hardest thing to do, is to, you know, you got to separate to elevate, right? The hardest thing to do is separate from these people. And when I started doing these things in my life, like, it wasn't easy, right? It's the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. But now when I need to find peace, I have people I can lean on. You know, like I said, a community of people like you're in that community of people around me that I know I could lean on. Be like, yo, Nick, I'm going through this thing, man. What's the word, man? And like, just to get an encouraging word from a friend who's just like, yo, come on, man, we've been here before. You know what I'm saying? This is what Jesus says about it, and this is how we address this thing in the past. And if we didn't address it, you know, there's resistance to building culture. Like, I expect things to be hard. If we're doing something for good, and we're trying to build a culture here and do a new thing. Oh, I just seen a quote today, man. I seen a quote today that goes right with this. So the quote says, signs point to something greater. You don't need signs if you stay on a familiar road. But if you are going somewhere you have never been before, you will need signs to get there. I said, that's it. Right? So being flexible is, those signs are, you know, your community, your friends. Maybe they haven't been there yet. So where else do you go? I mean, I get down, I gotta pray every morning and ask for direction, and usually responding in a good way with love to serve other people is the right way to go for me.
Yeah. And so the reason why I asked you that, where do you find peace, right? Is when you're a warrior and you're out there for it, when you're out there pioneering, right? Something new. Like the things that you were talking about, you took a lot of things that other folks were doing and you made them better for your community, for your family, and for you. Now, when you do that, right, you're used to soldiering, you're used to war, you're used to people saying, you told me I couldn't do it, or most people saying you can't do this and this can't work for you, but you're not listening to them, you're trusting someone else, right? Or you're trusting in something else. And for you, it sounds like that thing is God, right? Now, for
That's right.
me, I have a hard time when I'm consistently going down roads I've already been on. There's a piece of me that wants to fight, that wants to soldier on, that wants to take on a new mountain. And I struggle with finding peace because I've now found peace in calamity. Then so when things are calm and under when this is, I'm in a relationship, right? And so like when I'm receiving love, I'm like Major Payne. I'm trying to find out what's your angle. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you trying to take from me? I don't even know how to receive love right now
Right.
because I'm
Wow.
so used to walking around with my fists closed. You know what I mean? And I see the same thing in ministry. I see the same thing in our mission. I see the same thing in our business. I see people walking around with their fists closed, right? And so this is my last question for you.
Right.
A lot of times we see boxers boxing. I'm looking at you. I see your tattoos. You know what I'm saying? You work out. I work out. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times we see these physical attributes that people use at times, right, to make distance, right? I want to know, how do you get the trust? Not just from your donors, but I'm
Right.
talking about the kid that's been hurt at home. I'm talking about the
Right.
worker that's been fired. Like I'm talking about the husband or wife that's been cheated on. I'm talking about the when we're in a situation, things are on fire and we're calling for water. How do you get them to trust instead of just looking for the water to find the match? How do you build that trust?
Bro, that's it. We got to do this more often. Okay. Because That's the key, because I got to remind myself of this. And it's probably the hardest thing to do, but because always taking on a relationship, I know what it comes with that. You know, I can't give half of myself to somebody. You know, I got to be there. So it's building trust. It's building that trust. And how I do that is, you know, it's being available, right? Even though I have, like you're talking about warring and fighting a battle, like I've been told I'm so comfortable in crisis that I don't even know what is it? Like, I don't know. But I do know that being consistent and when we have these abilities to problem solve, and we have the ability to be comfortable in crisis and chaos, is the hardest thing to do is to say, like, I'm just going to set my ability to the side and just be available. So availability over ability, right? Is just be available as much as you can for people and be consistent, you know, with them, right? If it's saying like, yo, we're going to meet and talk, one-on-one meetings, like I have, feels like so many of them a week, is like, all right, where we at today? And then the key to me is like having an action plan. Like, let's not get together and just talk about, like, this ain't a therapy session. Let's get this right from the jump, because we got to grow, because we're never staying the same. We're either getting better or getting worse. Like when these situations come up, I want to handle it better next time, right? I got to learn from this mistake. Failing forward, that's another one of your things. I seen what you have on there. Missing the mark is essential to making the mark. I seen that on the page. I was like, that's failing forward, right?
Right.
Like that's embracing mistakes. That's another part of our core value. So finding the peace comes from leaning on people, of course, the Bible and praying, the Jesus community, and also mind, body, spirit. Like working out is a huge deal, you know, to be able to get the endorphins going and like get your body in a good place. Working out is huge. Mind, body, spirit, to find that peace, and then building that trust with these kids and then people who are in crisis, is saying, this is what's happened in my life. You know, I'm available to tell you a story of how, you know, God got me through this thing, or I was able to, you know, let go of the situation, to trust God enough so that you can trust me enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
man, hold on now. Now I gotta cut, because we can talk literally all day.
all day.
I want to do this again with you. You know,
Right.
we have a different word every week that we look at, and this one was flexibility, and you absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I want to say, just in closing, that availability thing, like that is one of the most selfless things, but also it can be seen as a selfish thing, because I need to be available to you. I need to be available to the people who have expectations on me in my work, but I also need to be available to my Lord. And sometimes, like, I choose you over him. See, because I can grasp hold of this, right? And sometimes I have to stop doing all of these other things, right? And I'm good at these things, right?
Right.
I have to stop doing all of these other things so I can receive the next sign, the next message. And for anybody, and I'm gonna knock this over to you one more time, right?
Right.
For anybody, if you need someone to look at that is flexible enough to train a pro and a preteen. Like, if you need somebody to look at, right, that is out there soldiering every single day, is this guy Jaryd Boyer right here. And I want to hand the mic to you, Jaryd. And so a lot of people who watch this show don't have any idea who you are. And for the last 15 seconds, if you were going to close this show and let them know one thing, what would that be?
One thing to know. That's a great question. One thing that I know is that, and it lines up with both of our missions, so maybe your people can relate to it, is everybody was born with a gift, right? So whatever your passion is, or whatever you would get up in the morning, whatever wakes you up in the morning that you would go do for free, like something that you love that much, is something like, that's what you should be doing, right? And don't let nobody ever tell you nothing different, right? Because whatever that is, that passion and burning, as long as it's good, right? I'm not saying like go do some whack, crazy stuff. Not saying that. I'm saying if it's good and it's something you love to do, whether it's art or music, you know, a sport, reading, like anything. It could be anything. It could be a million different things. That's what you were called to do. That's what you should do. And you could get my number and I'll help you process it too, because that's what I do, is try to help people find their passion and purpose in life. So that's what I would say. Like, you got a call and you're special, and God gave you something that, you know, you should be using for good.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And tell the world, how do they connect with you? Do you have Instagram, Facebook? How do they connect with you?
Yeah, you could just Google, if you Google Premier Youth and Community Center, it'll pop up in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. It's west of Pittsburgh. On Instagram is Premier_Fitness and Boxing. On Facebook is Premier Fitness and Boxing. Snapchat, same thing. And my personal page will be on there. It's Keep It Moving 412. What else we got? LinkedIn. We got all that. You just Google will take you there. Once you get the one, it'll take you to the other. And our website, you can get all that stuff, the updates on the Mentor Me program, what we're doing actually, like right now, and what we have done is pyccenter.org. So it's pyccenter.org.
That's what's up. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, bro.
And I love having you. I love your energy, and I feel a synergy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like a
there is.
brotherhood with you. And
Oh, it's
I just
already
want to.
there.
I want to challenge you. Not that you don't like. Not that you're not used to challenges, but I want to
Right.
challenge you to keep telling your story, and to
I
keep doing
appreciate
the
it, bro.
work, and to keep finding love for yourself. Because the same amount of love that you put out there, right? I hope that you are flexible enough to receive the same amount of blessing. Hey, y'all, this is Nick Jackson, and this is One Word Wednesday. I'm here with
flexibility, baby. Jaryd Boyer.
yeah.
Getting flexible.
Thank you for being here. Much
Thank you, brother.
love.
Peace.